You're watching Open for Business with Jim Mackay, a business news show that brings you information about commerce and industry in the Four Corners. Open for Business is brought to you by First Southwest Bank. We can help you get there. First Southwest Bank.
Also brought to you by the La Plata County Economic Development Alliance. Pioneer spirit, business smart.
You can't tune a fish, but a local farmer raises thousands of trout each year to stock private lakes and local restaurant menus. With the unusually warm weather this February, Iron Horse Bicycle Classic contenders already are riding the roads of La Plata County to get ready for the annual Memorial Weekend race. We'll learn more about the economic impact of the Iron Horse and the many businesses and charities that benefit. These stories and more on our 27th of February edition of Open for Business. I'm Jim Mackay. Food is serious business, and entrepreneurs in the growing real food movement want to change the food business in a serious way. More than 200 entrepreneurs and activists attended the 6th annual Homegrown Retreat on February 21st and 22nd at Fort Lewis College to learn about innovative projects that are changing the way we think about food and consume food. As defined by the real food movement, real food is grown within a 250-mile radius of where it is consumed. It's organic, uses fair labor practices, and is humane. Growing real food on a commercial scale is a challenge. It's more labor intensive than industrial agriculture. Organic farmers face a greater risk of losing crops to pests, and in southwest Colorado, markets to sustain larger operations are hard to find. But it's not impossible to grow real food commercially. All it takes is innovation, and that was the focus of this year's retreat.
Every year we get together, and the goals of this food retreat, really like big picture goals, are to bring together our communities so that we can exchange information about what's going on, and then also to build those relationships that in some of our presentations today you've heard are kind of paramount in giving things to move forward, and then to celebrate because we are doing exceptional things.
Keynote speaker Russell Evans, founder of the Transitions Lab in Montrose, told the audience that innovative collaboration is the key to changing society. The Transitions Lab is a for-profit educational center that helps entrepreneurs find innovative resources to build their companies. Evans encouraged the audience to think outside the money paradigm and look for ways to tap into social systems that already exist.
I think that we have all of the tools necessary to build a sustainable, resilient, wonderful future. And the only limitation is how we're using our existing resources to doing those things. So if we can come up with creative ways that use existing resources to power projects, then we can get the work done that needs to be done.
As an example, Evans said a number of communities in the United States have set up affordable housing programs that connect homeowners who have an extra bedroom with renters who offer their labor in exchange for rent. Terms of the exchange are explicit and included in a contract that both parties sign. Local farmers who need help with their crops could do the same thing, Evans suggested. Other innovations highlighted at the retreat were the Southwest Seed Bank, a mushroom growing project that amends soil poisoned by herbicides and pesticides, a proposed cooperative that would ship locally grown products to market, and a Fort Lewis College food service program that includes locally grown organic food in 20% of its menu items. Afternoon workshops included how-to sessions on growing real food, the farm-to-school lunch program, and a networking session to connect local farmers with restaurant chefs to establish new markets. The Fort Lewis College Environmental Center and Growing Partners sponsored the retreat. For more information, log on to growingpartners.org. It's the simple economics of supply and demand. The Durango real estate market doesn't have a lot of inventory, and that means prices are going up, even for those looking to rent. Ask anyone on the hunt for a new home in Durango, and they will tell you pickings are slim. Kelly Niffen, president of the Durango Area Association of Realtors, says a new sense of urgency pervades the Durango market. And when clients come to her looking to buy, she now advises that they will be ready to act when they find the right house. According to Niffen, only 69 homes are currently for sale within the Durango city limits, and of that small number, 26 are already under contract. More homes are available in the rural areas, with 187 homes on the market, excluding Bayfield. Of that number, 29 are currently under contract, It's worth noting that 23% of rural homes are listed at more than $1 million. The median cost of a single-family home has gone up over the last 3 months as well, with homes now selling for around $400,000. With prices so high, Durango residents would otherwise be looking to buy their first home, but are now forced to rent. And the increasing demand on rentals comes at a time when the Durango population is growing. Enrollment at Fort Lewis College is up. Businesses like Mercury Payment Systems are taking on new employees in their expanded headquarters, and Mercy Regional Medical Center has more than 45 current job openings, all of which contribute to an influx of new residents who are in many cases looking for rentals before they buy. According to Fort Lewis College economics professor Robert Sonora, average rent in Durango jumped nearly 15% from 2012 to 2013, and the vacancy rate shrank to less than 2%. Average rent now hovers around $1,000 a month for a one-bedroom apartment. So what's the prognosis for the housing market? According to La Plata County Building Department, the number of building permits issued for construction on single-family homes has been on the rise for the last several years, with 95 permits issued in 2012 and 141 issued in 2013. However, the number of new permits may be stagnating. So far in 2014, only 3 building permits for single-family homes have been issued, and none have been issued for multifamily projects. Niffin said residents still are building in and around Durango, mostly because they can't find what they want in the existing market and can capitalize on lower land prices. Niffin admits that it's a seller's market right now in La Plata County, and homeowners looking to make a change will find lots of interest from buyers waiting for more inventory to open up. With 42 years of cycling under its belt, the Iron Horse Bicycle Classic has seen a lot of change. But the community that supports the Iron Horse is not standing still. During a recent weekend retreat, the Bicycle Classic got together several stakeholders from the local cycling community to plan out where the event should be heading in the next 10 years. They had several goals in mind: a fair and safe athletic event, and fulfillment for volunteers, sponsors, and the community at large. As a result, we can expect to see overall demographics of event participants shifting from a race-focused crowd towards people who like to participate in an event format known as Gran Fondo. These events are centered around a scenic and challenging big ride, but offer a list of additional events that draw more of a family-oriented crowd. With these goals in mind, the Iron Horse will undoubtedly see an uptick in the financial impact that it has on the community. This year, more than 3,500 people will participate in the various Memorial Day events, with 2,750 of them registered for the main race to Silverton. About 3,000 participants are visitors, mainly from the drive market that includes Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, California, and Texas. It is estimated that for every 2 visitors who participate, at least 1 other person comes along for the weekend, resulting in an influx of 4,500 people to the area. The new event format will cause visitors to stay for at least 2 nights in the Durango area, which is great news for local businesses. In the past, hotel occupancy on Friday night was nearly 100%, but dropped off on Saturday and Sunday. The Iron Horse has a significant impact on our local economy. Registration fees alone add up to more than $400,000. Profits from these fees benefit local and global charities and nonprofits, specifically the Mercy Medical Center Foundation, Live Strong, Fort Lewis College Cycling, and the Davis Finney Foundation. When you add up the impact of sales at hotels, bars, restaurants, gift shops, bike shops, and training courses, the estimated economic impact from the weekend totals nearly $2 million. Later in the show, we'll visit with Iron Horse founder Ed Zink to hear more about the new format of the event and how that will affect the community going forward. 3 road signs decorate the entry to Zia Taqueria's South Store on Camino del Rio: Homegrown Lane, Local Way, Independence Boulevard. They're a fitting reminder of the restaurant's commitment to sustainability, and it's for that commitment that Zia Taqueria has been named the Green Business of the Year by the Green Business Roundtable, a program of the San Juan Citizens Alliance. From photovoltaic solar panels to the donation of food scraps for compost, even to the reduction of his employees' carbon footprints, Tim Turner has successfully established his business as Durango's leader in sustainable practices. Inside Durango news correspondent Jordan Alexander met with General Manager Cody Wilderman to discuss how Zia Taqueria earned the award.
We got originally a government grant to do some solar stuff. So we have a couple different solar arrays on the roof, and those are basically all of our hot water for the whole restaurant is all solar powered. And then all of our kitchen scraps go to James Ranch. They feed the chickens. So we have basically, like, anytime we cut lettuce to prep lettuce, you get the little butts of lettuce. We take all that, all the cabbage that we can't use, any leftover food from the day, that goes into a big bucket, which then goes to James Ranch. They pick it up, and that's what they feed their chickens with.
During its 8 years in business, Zia Taqueria has quickly become one of Durango's most popular restaurants. Demand for their authentic Mexican cuisine reached such a high that in April 2013, Turner opened a second restaurant on Camino del Rio. The move gave Zia an opportunity to expand its food recycling program to local farms south of Durango. In the addition of a second store, Zia admittedly increased the carbon footprint with more employees driving to work. But Turner, an avid cyclist himself, came up with an innovative way to reduce carbon emissions.
We buy bicycles for any employee who can't afford a bicycle, and we try to encourage people to ride their bikes if they live in town rather than drive. And so we basically will go to Bicycle Lemonade, or if they want like a more expensive mountain bike, we'll kind of meet them halfway or whatever we need to do.
As you would expect from a green leader, Turner and Zia Taqueria will continue to invest in sustainable technologies in 2014. They plan to install a cold storage facility that will keep their produce locally grown fresher longer. To read more about Zia's commitment to sustainability, visit the website at ziataqueria.com. Up next, something fishy is going on in the Animas Valley.
I started working here when I first moved to town in 2003, and we were a consignment shop back in the day, and then through having the right people working here and being in the right community, our business grew to what it is today. My name is Gary Preventure, and my store is 2nd Avenue Sports, Durango, Colorado. My favorite part about our business is that we are still a mom and pop, locally owned, bike and ski shop, and these days those are kind of going away. There's a lot of corporate businesses that are coming in and buying up businesses like this. So I feel like the community of Durango is how our shop is able to survive, because people here care about buying locally, they care about who they do business with. It's important stuff to them. The owner of our building, our landlord, sold the building, and we were going to be out of a home. I was nervous, because we have a ton of inventory in here, as you can tell, and it would have been hard for us to find another spot. If we did find another spot, it wouldn't have been downtown, and it would have changed our business entirely. Sean Candelaria from First Southwest came over and said that they had bought this piece of property and that they didn't need the whole piece of land, and asked us if we would share the piece of land with them, and we were excited. Yeah, that was the third best day of my life. We were looking around town for another place to put our store, and this location has been really good to us, and we're 2nd Avenue Sports, so it's really hard to move any place other than 2nd Avenue. That's one thing about First Southwest Bank, is they took on this project and they divided this piece of property in half for not really any financial gain of their own, and that's not something I would suspect from a bank. We're going to own our own piece of land, so as a business owner, that's huge. I didn't think that would ever happen. I figured we would be renting our whole lives, and First Southwest Bank and Sean and Kent have definitely made it possible for us to buy our own piece of land. We appreciate First Southwest Bank because they are a smaller local bank for sure. The people who run that bank, they've become friends of ours. And they're just great people. We're very fortunate. As far as the future goes, I plan to work in this business for at least another 30 years, pay off my loans, and maybe kick it down to some of these younger guys working in here. I feel like we're living the dream around here. This is where I want to be, and this is what we like to do. The First Southwest Bank has really helped us keep the dream alive.
Watch more at durangotv.com.
Well, it's a beautiful day here out at Rainbow Springs Trout Ranch. My name is Patrick Goddard, and I'm the owner and the operator of the Trout Ranch. We're located south of Durango, about 10 miles downstream on the Animas River. It's a small family business that I've been running since the early 2000s. I purchased it from a family here in Durango that had been running the ranch since the early 70s. But in reality, this property has been involved with some sort of farming or agriculture or even aquaculture for the last probably 40 or 50 years, because it's got a marvelous source of artesian water that flows out of these hillsides here. So we're continuing on the tradition of raising sustainable trout, cold water trout here, primarily rainbow trout, and we still go by the name Rainbow Springs Trout Ranch. Our fish, we actually purchase eggs, just like you'd purchase chicken eggs, from a brood stock up in Washington State. And they ship us these eggs in a giant cooler overnight. And when they get here, we put them to rest in some nesting jars for a couple weeks. And then at that time, they start hatching out of their eggs. And we will hold them into our hatching facility for several months until they're big enough to be taken outside. One of the big advantages of raising fish as a protein source is that their conversion ratio is really good, meaning for every 2 pounds of protein I feed them, they'll produce 1 pound of protein out of the fish. Compared to like the cow or the beef industry or the pig industry or even the chicken industry, that conversion is really good. And we usually get about 50,000 of them that'll make it from the hatchery into the raceways, and then we'll lose another maybe 10 to 20% of fish outside, primarily due to predation. And once they move out of the hatchery facility, we keep them out into our outside raceways for over a year, getting them up to a size that is either stockable or consumable. So this is where the water that came down from the springs through the pipes, it all ends up in this top raceway here. And there's about 1 million gallons per day of water that comes out of the springs and starts in these raceways. It's flowing almost 3 cubic feet per second. The water starts up here and zigzags down through the raceways here, providing fresh water and oxygen for all the little fishes. And just like you would do in any sort of agriculture, you want to put your youngest and your most susceptible to disease fish at your freshest water source. So our little guys are up here. So these are our little guys, and these guys are about actually 6 months old. And then as they get bigger, we move them down through the system. So buckets and nets. They're all ladies, and the reason that we do that is because we don't want a lot of testosterone in our facility, because then the males would start fighting and then the women would start acting crazy, and you'd get more fin nipping and more problems with your fish, the things I try to avoid. So we've got all females in here. These guys here are about a year old, so they're just like we predicted, about 6 to 7 inches long. Now these are the size that I prefer to stock because they still have an opportunity to really get big in the wild. They love it. They get really accustomed and used to being fed by us, but once I stock these fish into a lake or a river, after 2 or 3 days, they don't want anything to do with humans. They get afraid of them just like they would if they were raised in the wild. I don't do a whole lot of fishing anymore. Doesn't make sense to go beat the water with a fly for hours when I can just dip my net in here. The last few years we've produced roughly 15 to 20,000 pounds of trout, and primarily that goes out as live stocked fish. One of the big recreation areas that we've been stocking the last few years is Electra Lake, and I think anyone who's fished that lake has seen what a wonderful fishery it is, and I think we take part of that credit because of the fish we put in there. So if a restaurant wants 13-inch fish, we want the little ones to go through. So this is kind of how we grade the fish. It's got adjustable little bars, so depending on what we want. Being a vet, we actually try to get rid of our fish humanely, and one of the humane ways to get rid of a fish is to knock them on the head. The thing we really strive for at Rainbow Springs is to be raising fish in a sustainable manner. We strive for a fish that not only has a really high quality of meat, but also has really high quality morphology, meaning they have their fins, the pectoral fins, their dorsal fin, their pelvic fins are all intact. So that when people catch these fish out of one of the wild lakes or something, that they really can't tell the difference between it and then one that was actually hatched in the wild. The flavor is great, you know, and I don't know what to attribute it to. Honestly, I'm not a big trout eater myself. You know, part of it has to do with spending most of my day feeding them and hanging out with them, but because my water is so cold and that the water or the food source is consistent, their flesh is really a lot firmer than you'd see in a lot of trout. I do, I get attached to them a little bit, yeah. I mean, we run out of names. After naming 40 or 50,000, we don't know what to name them anymore.
Hi, I'm Beth McMacken with Athena Communications. My agency specializes in strategic planning, marketing, and design. And today I'm going to discuss how a small business can increase its ability to be found on major search engines. This marketing term is called building relevancy. If your business is difficult to find online, there are several things that you can do that will make a difference. First, start with one of these ideas. Claim your profile on as many social media sites as possible. You don't have to constantly maintain these profiles, you just need to start by setting up an account. Next, harness the power of Google by establishing your business on Google+. This will place your business on Google Maps in search results. Next, if you have a website, you can enhance your online relevancy by adding a few items. First, add Google Analytics to your website. This powerful tool will show you how much traffic your site is generating and what pages people are visiting the longest. Next, add videos to your website. You'll want to host them on YouTube first and then pull them into your website. When you add keywords to your videos in YouTube, this will help match the topic of your video with the same topic that people are searching for. Next, encourage your customers to write a review on your product or service. The reviews can be posted on Google, Yelp, TripAdvisor, Angie's List, just to name a few. Next, set up a business Facebook page. Add the link to your website. The more posts you develop on your Facebook page, the more Google sees your website as relevant. Next, set up a blog page on your website. Some website programs have this already as an option, and there are also free blogging sites online, and you can link that blog to your website. Make sure you post a blog regularly so Google knows you're an active and engaged business. Next, add what's called authoritative links. These are links to articles and other press in your business. If a paper or magazine has written an article on your product and the article has been posted online, you can copy that link to the article and add it to your website. When you have a lot of press, then you can start a new website page called Press. This last tip is to make sure that your website is responsive to mobile users. People like to view sites on the go, but generally tend to order products from a desktop computer or tablet. If you're using WordPress, the popular website building tool, it should already be responsive. If your website isn't responsive, ask your web designer about it. It could mean building a new website. Your success is what's important to us at Athena Communications. So take small steps to building online relevancy, because each little task makes a difference in your business being found. Thank you.
Welcome back to Open for Business. I'm Jim Mackay. I have Ed Zink here visiting us. He is the owner of a local bike store called Mountain Bike Specialists. He's also the founder of the Iron Horse Bicycle Classic. Welcome, Ed.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So we talked in the earlier segment a little bit about some of the changes that you're bringing to bear. I wonder if you could put it in your own words what the new format is about and how it's going to impact the race and the community.
Well, one of the things about the Iron Horse, even though we're 43 years old, part of the reason we've lasted this long is because we're willing to make changes and freshen up and just keep up with the times. And so this year we're going through that transition once again. We're going to give more emphasis to the citizen rider, to the average rider, and de-emphasize the race somewhat, although for everyone it's still a race against the train.
Absolutely, and I can attest that it's still a race. It takes a bit of effort to get there. You had mentioned earlier about a format called Gran Fondo. I wonder if you could explain what a Gran Fondo is and how that affects it.
Well, a Gran Fondo is this same format where you put less emphasis on the race categories and the hardcore racing and more emphasis on citizen participation. It has a bit of more of a party atmosphere, less involved in trying to decide who won which class, and more interested in everyone having a good time and being healthy and doing something they like for safe and make it safe and fun.
Do you think we're going to see a bit of a different crowd coming to these events, and are they going to bring their friends and stay a little longer? Or?
I think there'll be some transition. If we back up in time in our 43-year history, when we started, we were strictly a race. There was no citizens component. And as it has morphed over time, the citizens component has grown and the race component has declined. And the citizen component frequently is a little older, probably bringing a family along with them, not in such a big hurry, maybe has a little more disposable income. So it's a good match for Durango.
How do you think it's going to change how the weekend goes downtown?
Well, it'll probably be more fun. That's what we're always trying to do. And of course, the Iron Horse Classic is a not-for-profit group, and one of the primary objectives is to do what's good for business in Durango and what's good for business in Silverton. And the kind of people that will be coming in larger numbers will be good for business.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Hired Jeff Frost back in November. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that's going?
Well, it's going great. Jeff has just tremendous experience in special events, everything from snowboarding and Olympics to big mountain bike races, marathons, triathlons. He has been a professional event manager for 25 or 30 years. So there's no problem that can come up but what he'll say, well, the last time I saw that, here's what we did. So we feel very pleased to bring his widespread experience together with the passion of our community. I think things are just going to go up and up from here.
And you've been around for 42 years and counting involved with this event. Are we still going to see a little bit of Ed Zink involved and see him around?
Well, when everything's running nice and smooth with all 300 volunteers out there helping and doing their job, once in a while I can sneak away and go for a ride. So I hope to be on my bike this year.
Excellent. Congratulations and hope to see you out there. Thanks very much for coming in. Coming up next are business updates.
For natural and organic vitamins and supplements and health and beauty products, there's no better place than Nature's Oasis. We offer an experienced staff, nutrition and supplement education, and exclusive products. Nature's Oasis, home to the largest selections of vitamins and supplements in the Four Corners region.
You're watching Open for Business on Inside Durango TV. Here are your business updates. More than 50 jobs will be offered during the summer season at the Glacier Club north of Durango. And if you're interested in applying, you may want to attend the on-site job fair, which is scheduled from noon to 7 on Wednesday, March the 5th at the Glacier Club. Positions will be available in food and beverage, landscape maintenance, golf, housekeeping, building maintenance, and member services. You may also send your resume to cdrulis@theglacierclub.com or call 382-6782. A free business webinar on getting your business on the front page of a Google search will be offered to Durango Chamber of Commerce members from 2 until 3 p.m. on Wednesday, March the 5th. You'll learn about search engine optimization and how to gain more online visibility. Visit coloradochamberwebinars.com for more information. The FLC Society of Business Leaders seeks volunteer business owners to help students sharpen their networking skills at an event scheduled from 5 to 6:30 p.m. at the Lost Dog Tavern on Main Ave in Durango. You'll help graduating seniors and first-year alumni learn how to meet and greet and find potential employers through networking skills. You may also find someone you want to hire. If you have questions, contact the School of Business at 247-7294. Well, that's it. For this edition of Open for Business, join us on March the 6th when we highlight the Colorado Business Advisor of the Year. I'm Jim Mackay. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching Open for Business. Tune in every week with Jim Mackay for information about commerce and industry in the Four Corners. Open for Business has been brought to you by First Southwest Bank. We can help you get there. First Southwest Bank.
And by the La Plata County Economic Development Alliance, Pioneer Spirit, Business Spark.